Okay, now getting ready for some more statistics and stuff about this professional gambling and how to approach it. And I recorded this video about check the prediction quality, and I will do this for this weekend, but hopefully, or for the past weekend. Wednesday 22nd, so on Monday to the 20th. The weekend was over with football in all leagues, and I got other stuff, of course, to do, so I'm doing it on Wednesday now. And the thing is, just to make sure some other things, because it's a bit mathematical, but it's in the end it's pretty easy to understand, first of all. And because just to say it's mathematically, it is absolutely correct and very it's very pure and clean. Thing is, people, mathematicians, they do not, I'm in touch with some working in the statistics and it's a complex subject. What are we talking about? In general, we talk about upcoming events that we do not know a probability for, and that is only played or executed, or it's only happening once. So we can't make any long-term statistics on that. If you take Werder Bremen against Leverkusen, okay, you can have 20 years back, how did they play? Or Arsenal Tottenham, they beat them. Arsenal won 2-0. But you can have, but it's not the same presumptions. It's not the same game. They had different players, different table situation. Everything had been different. Different coaches, different tactics, whatever. So you can't compare those. So you do a prediction just for this one occurrence, just for this one thing happening, and you do not know a probability for that. And that makes it a bit, harder to understand, and also for mathematicians, they are afraid of that somehow. They try to avoid it. They want some clearer lines, some clearer examples that are, that they can do some statements on and analyze in depth and make use of. Anyway, we are, if we assume now, okay, now I assume a very simple, just to show that the basic mathematics are absolutely correct behind that. Then you could say, well, what's the use in that? Yeah, we'll come to that. If we have an assured probability, I don't know how to create it, but you could imagine one die with 10 sides or something like that. Of course, you can create somehow a probability distribution of 70%, 30%. That you're guaranteed this is 70%, 30%. I'm guaranteed. I mean, it's somehow in mathematics. I could take one example of, let's say, 10 or 11 numbers in the roulette that would be just to that's the closest maybe to get. Then we would have 29.73%, right, for 11 out of 37 numbers. So just to have some practical example of where to get those 30% from. And this is repeated, right? You say, I take the numbers 0 up to 10, so you have 11 numbers, and then you look what has occurred, right? Which number has occurred. So either it had been coming or not. But we assume we have this assured probability of 70%, an assured distribution like that, right? Then we would have the same formula that I showed to you. What would I expect to happen? What would I expect to happen? Of course, I would expect to happen, this should occur more often, because this is 70%, right? This is only 30%. So I would expect this 70% to occur in 70% of the cases. So I multiply this times this, 70%. That's the expectancy value, how you calculate it. Plus this is 1 minus, so this is the whatever I enter here, right? I could enter the figure we just had, 70.7%, then this would be 29.3. But anyway, so this is the expected value, because I have to multiply this times this plus this times this. So I have 58%. This is somehow what I would expect. Why would I expect this? Because if you say, I expect this for every single occurrence, I expect this because it's always the same. So I expect an average of 58%. This is this divided by the number, that's 20. So this is 1160 divided by 20. So I expected this, and this, of course, for every single one. So I expected this. And in case this is just a randoms, because I made random numbers, this is a random result, but it's the most likely one as well. This will happen in most cases, but of course it's not more than 50% or something like that. You have the binomial distribution where you can calculate that. I could work it out, but I don't want to do this now. But the probability for exactly 14 in 20 to come true of this and 6 of the other. Because this is what happened here. So this is once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times the 70% and 6 times. And this is obviously what you would expect. 14 in 20, this is like 7 in 10. So it should happen 70% of the cases, the 70%. So in this case, we would have an exact match. But if I would recalculate this, then we would have different results, right? This is just a random result. Okay, now we had 15, right? Is this 15? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Obviously that's 15, right? And now we have again 14, now we have 13, 12, 16, 17, 16 now, and so on. So we get several different outcomes because it's just on random. But on the average, it will come out to 58%. So you could say, well, that's of no use for me because I expect 70-30, so I multiply this plus this and so on. So I get this expectancy and I get out this value in the end, right? It's going to be 58%. The problem is I do not know those probabilities. And it's only going to happen once. Now here we could repeat it and we had an assured probability of 70-30%. So we could repeat this. Now we can't repeat it, but now I'm making an example. It's still to keep it simple and to make it understandable and to show you something about it. Now I'm still predicting, I'm assuming this probability, but I don't really know because this is, it's some odd, so I don't know. It's a different thing. I'm trying to predict. Maybe I predict a winner. I say this guy is favorite, and I don't know if they play chess or something. And I predict the winner in a match or something like that. And I say, well, I guess that's 70-30, but I'm not sure, and I'm predicting different matches. So, but I'm always assuming. Let's say there's an ELO difference if you have this chess measure system. Rating system, right? Then you could say, well, 1500 against 1600, that's about 70-30. So, but then I take 2100 against 2000, and I say the same. But I'm not right about this. So I'm guessing this because I don't know any better. But what I've done now is create a random number for a sign. I'll explain in a second. And a random number for a deviation. So I assume an error interval of 10%. So I'm either too low or I'm too high, right? I'm guessing 70% and I allow up to 10% error. So I create two random numbers, one to determine the sign and the other one to determine the deviation from this. So this is 6% deviation and it's minus, so to say. So I was 6% wrong. Here it had been 64%. The truth, which I did not know, and maybe no one knows, but this is a God-given somehow, right? This is an assumption just to show you something, right? Here I'm predicting still the same, just to keep it. What we do in football is we have 3 outcomes and we have always different probabilities, right? But first of all, to keep it simple, I'm predicting the same thing, and I've given you one example where it could be somehow like this in the chess games where there's a certain ELO difference. And now I work out with the random numbers, I work out the deviation from that. So I say, well, you're somehow wrong. You're in this interval, you're being wrong in that because you just do not know. But now I have a God-given probability, right? Now I would still expect my 58% because mine didn't change. But the other one, his expected prop, this does change because this is based on this truth, on this la vérité, what I call it, right? Just for fun. And so he should have better results in the end because he knows better. So here he knows better that this should be 56.7%. It still does not mean it's going to happen like this, right? And now I'm still simulating those results like this, as I used to, but the outcome is based on those probabilities here, because this is the truth, and this is the one guessing with a 70%, 30%. He does not know, he does know. So what is going to happen is the outcome will, he will be closer because more often he will have the better prediction, so to say, right? Because this guy says 70%, the first one, and he knows it's only 64%, so he should have more hits. But the outcome is based on this probability because this is the truth. But the other one would not know. This is what I do in football, and that's what I'm, I do not know, and I will never find out. I will never get to the la vérité. Because no one could tell me, right? And no one knows. Well, what the experts do here in Germany, at least, they always explain the result. So if someone had been winning, he always had been deserved winner. Either because he made use of his chances or because he was playing better. So anyway, it's justified. Yeah, but I could count the goals myself. Anyway, it means they explain, they wait for the result to happen and then they explain it, so to say, right? Yeah, this was obvious. Yeah, they are so weak at the moment. Dortmund, for example, they ought to lose against Tottenham. But all the experts in the studio, they predicted the win for them, by the way, just to mention. And because they are optimistic and they are Germans and we are on German TV, right? They have to predict the win. Although they knew better. Yeah, they knew better. It's not going to happen. Anyway, this is what the first guy would expect, and this is what he would get. And in 20 examples, there's still no real difference in that because it's just random results. He should have. It's just anyway. This guy here should be a bit closer with his prediction, with his expected probability compared to the probability that is coming true. Maybe this does not become obvious in this example because there's a deviation of 2% and the other one does have one of 2.28. But if I would do this repeatedly, then we should see somewhere there's a huge deviation here, but also a huge one there. Yeah, well, it should come out. This is the better. This guy is closer, right? I could give the difference here. This minus this, and this minus this, and we will have both centered, and we have both, and percent, and we have both. So, and the better one is the smaller one. So this is the guesser, and this is the knower. I don't know. So yeah, guesser was better. It's only 20. No, the knower, the one knowing. No, the one guessing was better. No, the one guessing was better. No, the one knowing was better. No, the one knowing was better. No, the one guessing was better. No, the one knowing was better. No, the one knowing was better. Knowing was better. Knowing was better. you will see in the end that it's going to happen. Knowing better, guessing better, knowing better, guessing better. Anyway, it will turn out in the end the one knowing, he will come closer for sure. This is very small deviations here, right? And we're not really, and it's just 20 occurrences of this rather not the same thing, but somehow underlying a similar probability. And of course you cannot expect those real huge deviations. Anyway, the one knowing, I mean, I think we saw this already. This is like 2015 maybe right now. And getting a phone call, and I think what I ought to do with it. Kann ich zurückrufen? Mache ich gleich. Ja, ich habe die Nummer, ja. Ich muss kurz was machen. Wiederhören. Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to repeat this experiment of this weekend, and actually, oh, it's giving me the result already. I didn't want to see this actually. What I measure here, is, you know, what I'm trying to point out is we have favorites and we have underdogs, and we have some kind of predictions of those, right? We had the Stuttgart, we were underdogs, but they were winning. But Bayern did win, they were heavy favorites. We have in every game. Hoffenheim did not win, favorites. But if we have those probabilities, if you have any given probability of 5.28%, this you should only write down or assume, or if it's gonna happen in 1 in 20 cases like that, right? Yeah, about one out of 20 cases. Otherwise, it should be lower. You should not say this is a surprise if it's gonna happen, but it's ought to happen. It's not just. It's nothing to do with a surprise if you understand probabilities, because it's gonna happen in 1 in 20 cases. Otherwise, you would say, well, I was clearly overrating Augsburg. Maybe I was, but anyway, you could guess 1%. Still, you should expect in 1 out of 100 cases that this is gonna happen. You have to expect it, not that you should say this can't happen. This has to happen. It's the whole opposite of that. What people actually say about it and think about it, right? Wolfsburg did beat Freiburg. So anyway, we have what we measure now is we have favorites. Schalke were a favorite winning. We have favorites. Well, we need the underdogs results. Otherwise, our predictions would be bad. So it is going to happen, right? 62%. It's just, you know, they will happen. It will happen in 62%. But we have those other cases. They are going to occur. So and what we measure is, well, how much can we weigh the favorite? How high can we rate it? Because we can't say that the favorite is going to win, the favorite is going to win, because it's not going to happen. It's 60%, 50%, something like that, something between that actually. 55 is what I worked out. About 50%, but we got 3 different results now. We have to, account, take them all into account. Anyway, if we have a heavy favorite, we have a pretty huge number here. And if it's winning, we have an even bigger one here, because this was, it's not an exception, it's a normal thing as well, but we will have as well, as often we will have the outsider result taking back those percent, right? This is 70% that, so to say, 17% that Man City had been winning, and this is like 10% giving back here on Everton. And so what we do now is we measure, do we have a good distribution of favorites, and how well did they distribute in the end? We have some favorites winning and we have some outsider results, and we have them. Do we have them in the expected distribution? And first of all, I mean, as I was pointing out, 38%, that's like if you have 0.5 times 0.5 plus 0.3 times 0.3 plus 0.2 times 0.2. So this is the distribution 50, 30, 20. That's the distribution of the normal home favorite. It is somehow over the years in all the leagues, right? And then you have 38%. So I'm even predicting a bit more of a favorite, like, yeah, because they are away teams also favorites, but also home teams heavier favorite than 50, 30, 20. But we are close to this distribution of 50, 30, 20. But we are actually a bit above. For this match day, we had been, this is the expected probability, and this is the occurred probability. And anyway, occurred had been a bit more. There is a deviation, so you could, yeah, now you can come to the conclusions. What are the conclusions? One conclusion is we had too many favorites wins with those figures. You can have other figures. You can just take the markets and stuff like that. But for those figures, we could say we had a few too many favorites winning, right? So, but this could mean the figures are bad, right? Of course, because someone else could have different predictions, and he could be a lot closer. He could also be higher with both those things. Because if someone like, as I was pointing out, Biff Tannen from the Back to the Future, who knew the results, he would have 100% here and 100% there. Because he knew all the results. He knew as well the outsider is going to win here, there's the favorite's going to win. So he could raise those probabilities up to 100%. But someone knowing better, understanding better, he could say, no, this is not a 20%, this is maximum 10%, and they got 75. You're wrong with those. And then it's going to happen, and so he's making up percentage. So I do not know. At least I take this to measure and to compare my figures with themselves. And I do not have any other predictions that I could compare it with. But of course I got the market, and I've done things like that to compare. And actually it turns out, we're pretty even in some sense. But still, the edge could be, I'm pretty good, so to say. But I pick out the good games, right? But anyway, it's in a two-way, but some mathematical basis for that, and it's really it's profound. It's saying quite a bit, and I have to use it to check the quality of my own figures week in, week out, and I can do that for many. I can instantly do this, for example, for the Bundesliga for the last. Just to give you one more example, for 2017, and I will do the stats here. Oh no, sorry, it's not. I have a different tool for that. I can do that, but sorry, yeah. I have to do it like this. Now I should have 306 games here. Last thing I'm gonna do. And Ergebnisstatistik. So this should produce me. And I have expected 41.09%. So pretty heavy favorites, you could say, a bit heavier than average, but we are Bundesliga. This is one league now with pretty yeah, it is spread a bit wider. I never get it right here because it's not a mirror. I know, I never get it right. So this is a bit wider spread, while second Bundesliga or some other leagues, they might be a bit closer, right? So and so you have heavier favorites, like you had Bayern Munich and Dortmund last year. So this is spreading. So that's expected 41.09% and come true had been 40.75. There is a deviation, so I could think about it, but now we could do one more example. Here, just to from 2016, so maybe we get one different figure, right? And if it's going the same way, I'm still not worried, but and here we are at 41.84 expected and 41.78, so those are very close here, right? So I mean, in the long run, this means the figures cannot be that wrong. This is what it means. You could have better ones, I don't know. But those are in itself, they are pretty okay. You got some favorites and you're pretty right about them, because it's going to happen here or there, and it's not going to happen as many of the cases as it should be, right? Here you have the outside and the... Okay, anyway, I'll leave you with this because it's long enough. Thanks a lot for watching and hope to see you soon. Bye.